Bundesstring! Bundesstring!
Hello children, and welcome back to Staunch WEEN. Allow yourselves to be taken over by the channel for just a moment. It is spooky season after all. And let's go back to a time where on any given day you can go down to your local video stores and gaze upon the new release shelf, filled not only with that year's latest box office hits, but also with a bizarre collection of oddities made to catch the eyes of impressionable youth. Direct-to-video heavy hitters, all duking it out on the video store shelves. Heavy hitters like Vidmark, Live, Apex, Troma, and many more. What can I say? This, of course, was the place to be back in the day. And when looking back, it's also the place to be if we're gonna talk best horror sequels. Because not only were we getting original horror featuring stuff like Killer Snowman or Rumpelstiltskin, sure, why not? But we were also getting some sometimes new and innovative takes on classic 80s films as well, where I welcome the slew of sequels the 90s gave us. A lot of you guys did it. You know, and I'm going to do a recommendation video of some of what I consider to be underrated 90s horror sequels, because I do think they exist. But this one in particular, I felt really needed its own video, because as in my opinion, of course, not only does it completely eclipse the original film, but also it really holds up on its own as, you know, a campy classic October schlocker, if you will. And it remains extremely underrated today, again, in my opinion. Of course, I'm talking about the 90s Stephen King adaptation, Sometimes They Come Back Again. First off, Alexis Arquette is amazing. I've covered Alexis a lot on the channel, and if you've been watching, then you know I'm a massive fan. Check out my interview with the director of one of Alexis's earlier films, Jumpin' at the Boneyard Next, why don't you? Great video there. And as great as Alexis was, I mean, it seemed that being a character actor was the dealt hand there. And hey, thanks for that, universe, as Alexis shines in every role, regardless of screen time, honestly. And while, yeah, Alexis is mainly known for cameos that were usually played for laughs, I mean, Alexis was also a phenomenal dramatic actor and simply demanded the screen. And here, there's nothing different. I mean, honestly, Alexis has all of the best lines in this flick. I remember back in the day in the Wild West of the IMDb message boards, on this film, someone commented, "Damn, how did they get Jerry Seinfeld to be in this low-budget horror movie?" And me, along with every other asshole on the internet, completely railed on that guy for years. Horror legend Michael Gross is also here, though he is, he's a lot more family ties in this than fierce graboid hunter. But the thing that kind of put the film on the map was an early appearance from Hilary Swank, so no one was even paying attention to Burt Gunner. And when you think about it, Hilary Swank was always kind of down with horror, like throughout her whole career. At some point, she'd always kind of come back, you know, and so I thought her presence here would kind of be distracting rewatching it, but not really. She doesn't really do much. You know who is distracting though? That little red-headed son of a bitch from Sandlot. He plays a horny little kid here, and you just kind of want to slap him, you know. Patrick Renna. Shout out to Patrick Renna, by the way. I mentioned earlier how the film eclipses the original, and I do mean that, you know. I'm not really a fan of that first film, but I mean, Tim Matheson, Bentley Mitchum, Robert Russler, what a cast. But the film itself is just kind of lacking, you know. Yet, here in the sequel, we actually get an attempt at adapting the original short story. Not only do we get, you know, the family coming back to a small town after a tragedy and, you know, some demonic greaser types coming back for revenge, but also we get like the scary, very off-putting thumb ritual that takes place in the short story. Ooh, that thing always gives me the creeps. I mean, it's all a little different, but it's also kind of all here as well, which is nice to see. Though the film takes a lot of creative liberties. It even takes some stuff from Lawnmower Man. You know, there's this kind of dim-witted landscaper who gets the shit end of his own lawnmower. And Alexis Arquette gets this great line.
Mind giving me a hand?
Did I mention that Alexis Arquette is amazing? One thing that's, oddly not prevalent here is the greaser aspect. The demons here, they're not really greasers so much as they're just badass dudes. Arquette's really the only main one, and there's another kind of conflict between him and one of his friends there later in the movie. I don't want to spoil everything for you, but Arquette feels more like just some 90s cool guy, in an ill-fitting jacket. And speaking of our demonic leads, I think, just to shine some light on it, the makeup is pretty cool. I think it fits the tone of this movie, and it's used just enough. It's nothing special, but it does have a feel and style to it that I always found kind of creepy. And if I'm being honest, though, a lot of stuff here, like a lot of the movie, a lot of the horror, a lot of the violence, it's all done in bad taste, most of it. There's like a real nihilistic vibe going here, something that seems like a hallmark of director Adam Grossman. But back to him in a bit. Now, to get my point across about the bad taste stuff, now here's just one example. The reason that Burt Gunner and Hilary Swank go back home is because Burt Gunner's mom died, you see, and she left behind her pet pig. Well, naturally, in the course of the film's events, the pet pig gets slaughtered, basically, and its blood just spread around and written into pentagrams all over the walls. There's just bloody pentagrams and satanic stuff. And then they find out that it's not the pig's blood. It's Burt Gunner's mom. I mean, this movie does not shy away from the more heavy-handed horror stuff. And I mean, it really leans into the satanic elements here. In fact, we get one of the coolest looking and genuinely creepy demon summoning scenes in any horror movie.
Sometimes they come back again.
And for such an obviously low direct-to-video budget, they're still really trying here, and there are some great practical and computer effects. And there's a little production value, I suppose. I mean, there's this scene where Jan from the Brady Bunch, of all people, from the Brady Bunch movie, well, she meets her end at the top of a dam. They take advantage of it. There's some cool overhead shots and all that kind of shit. And the way they kill her here is actually pretty cool. It's like throughout the movie, she's messing with tarot cards, and they turn the tarot cards against her. And basically, the whole sequence is a little odd, but it really brings the film together. Did I mention Alexis Arquette is amazing? Getting back to the director Adam Grossman, well, I've only seen 2 of his films. He does seem to have a style. He did that abysmal Carnival of Souls remake. Ugh. Now, I'll be touching on that one soon. While I don't really care for that film, I will be talking about it in further detail. But there's an odd feel to that flick. A real visceral, on edge, downer tone that still retains that video store magic. And here, sometimes they come back again. Well, we get more of the same heightened sense of danger that's in that film, and I think that's because of Adam Grossman. And it's just at all times you feel like anything could happen, which is something I miss in horror movies these days. And it makes sense, I guess, that both these movies have a similar feel. They're even shot by the same guy. Oh, and I have to mention the score. What an immaculate score. Such a classic feel. This movie is perfect for Halloween. Adam Grossman will go on to direct part 3 in the series. Sometimes they come back for more, which I did see back in the day, but I didn't really like it, I guess. I don't remember it at all. Watching the trailer recently, it looks like a Thing ripoff, and it definitely seems like a script that was just laying around that they had a title change, Oh, and Damien Chapa's in it. That's something. Alexis Arquette would go on to appear in a variety of different genre films, never really having a leading or co-leading role after this. Although, again, Arquette's genius shines in roles like Jumpin' into Boneyard, and especially the underrated Jack B. Nimble. You guys gotta see that one. And of course, he would return to more horror films with the likes of Bride of Chucky and another quote-unquote Stephen King property, Children of the Corn, Fields of Terror. There's just so much to love about Sometimes They Come Back Again. and it makes for just such a fun late night October watch. And beware of the Hillary Swank demon sex scene. Just saying, I forgot to mention that. Oh, and on the double feature tip, I recommend checking this one out along with Amityville Dollhouse for a sexually horny, spooky good time. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and please like, comment, and subscribe. Leave me a horror movie recommendation down below, and I just might rant about it on YouTube. It's Staunch WEEN 2024, and we are just getting started. See you soon.